What's going on, everyone? So yesterday we had quite the sort of dominoes of news. First off, Demar Derozan ended up being signed and traded to the Sacramento Kings, which another player that the Lakers missed out on, right? LeBron James, he ends up re-signing, but he takes a big enough discount to keep the Lakers under the second apron, which is huge because now the Lakers, they have some flexibility. Now they don't have their full mid-level exception, which I know a lot of people are upset about, but in hindsight, we were never getting anybody with that mid-level exception. All the targets that we're hopeful for, all of them went and took the bag, right? Like the hope was that one of these guys, a DeMar DeRozan, a Klay Thompson, a Miles Bridges. Yes, could we have gotten a Valanciunas? Sure, but how much of a difference does he make? And is he the right play at that? Like, sure, it would have been nice to have the upgrade in that regard, but the reports say Valanciunas was on that LeBron list. But was he really? Right? I mean, look, Valanciunas signed so quickly that I don't even know if, he knew that there was other options, right? It's just the whole situation's odd. But in hindsight, looking back now, we know nobody was probably coming with that mid-level exception. Nobody that was worth or more than what that mid-level exception would have been. So now the Lakers are essentially just limited to the trade front, right? That's what you got, which always was the case. The trade market was always the case for the Lakers. And now we're looking and we can see okay, what are our options here? DeMar's off the table. You got, not only did you get a couple guys to go other places, right? But now those teams are off the board, right? So the Lakers are heavily in pursuit for Jerami Grant. Jerami Grant seems to be the guy that the Lakers want more than anybody else. They're the guy that they continuously keep talking about, keep getting reports about, Lakers keep touching base on. Jerami Grant seems to be like the make or break guy for the Lakers. I think that the Lakers are trying to get Jerami Grant and then some, which is what the Lakers need. Even with DeMar DeRozan, right? Let's say we got DeMar. Talked heavily about him by himself does not make us a bona fide contender. It raises the ceiling. It makes us a lot better, but it's not a move where it's like, oh, here we go. It's it, top 5 team in the league. It would have given us a bigger puncher's chance instead of us, throwing jabs. Maybe we're throwing some haymakers and you knock a couple out, but you more likely than not would have needed 2 pieces regardless. DeMar and Jerami Grant. DeMar and Cam Johnson, right? So now it's, Grant and Cam Johnson. And I understand people are frustrated and want something to be done. But there's a lot of time between now and October. And look at what's happened so far. Outside of the DeJounte Murray trade, stuff like that. But that was before free agency. All the trades have been free agents sign and trade to said team. There hasn't been any real trades yet. Everyone's still trying to have these conversations. Everyone's still talking. The Lakers aren't the only team being active right now in trades. A lot of teams are. But a lot of the teams that were all just got a guy. So now, like Jerami Grant, for example, Sacramento was in on Jerami Grant. They were trying to get Jerami Grant too. The Dallas Mavericks were trying to get Jerami Grant too. That's 2 teams now off the board for Jerami Grant. The Warriors, they're not focused on Jerami. They're focused on Lauri Markkanen. Right? You're starting to see these teams kind of take themselves off the board. The Spurs were interested in several guys that the Lakers were trying to look at. Well, now the Spurs got Harrison Barnes, so they're probably off the board. They got Chris Paul, so they're off the board for a point guard, and they're trying to grow and develop Castle, and then now they just got Harrison Barnes. Right? Could they still maybe go and pursue Lauri Markkanen? Possibly, but they're not going to go and try to get a Jerami Grant or a Cam Johnson or anything like that. They're more likely either going to stand pat or they'll try to go get that Lauri Markkanen or something. You're seeing pawns be knocked off the board, so the king that is the Lakers can step in and win the game, right? That's the goal. And Jerami Grant seems to be kind of the focal point. I mean, he has been all offseason. Right? Even when there was all this talk about the taxpayer or the full mid-level exception and all this stuff, all of it was like, hey, yes, the Lakers want that, but they're also trying to get a Jerami Grant. In the perfect world, it was like DeMar DeRozan signs for the mid-level exception and the Lakers go trade for Jerami Grant. Well, now the Lakers are going to have to go trade for Jerami Grant and something else. Because again, same thing with Jerami Grant. I like Jerami Grant. Jerami Grant is a much better natural fit than DeMar was. He's a better three-point shooter, better defender. He's not the natural scorer and just bucket getter that DeMar is, which would be very nice to have. It'd be a very nice luxury to have because we don't really have anybody else like that, right? Reeves and D'Lo are far too consistent, and D'Lo's probably gone in any type of trade like that, but those guys are too inconsistent in that regard of just going and being a bucket getter. Reeves can do it, but again, he's not, or at least last year, he wasn't consistent enough in that regard. But LeBron, yes, he can kind of, pull up from three. He does a little look down and then pulls up. And, yes, he can kind of, catch shoot three. But more times than not, the way he just goes and gets a bucket is he just puts his head down, gets to the basket, and just finishes through contact, right? Bully ball. He's not out there, crossing dudes up, getting to his spot, elevating, pulling up. He's getting for the ball in the post, backing dudes down, turning around, doing that little fadeaway, right? DeMar's a guy that can get it off the rim and just go get a bucket whenever you need it. It would have been a nice luxury. Anthony Davis, same thing. He needs setup. Right, he needs to establish position. You got to get the ball to him, and then he can go to work. Would be nice to have a guy in in the scope of a DeMar Derozan to where you can just go and, razzle dazzle and just go get a bucket. The offense is stagnant. Guys can't hit a shot to save their lives. Hey, here you go, DeMar, go get a bucket. That would have been nice to have. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that unless, Lakers go trade for Zach LaVine or something like that, which I don't hate them doing, but neither here nor there, right? When you're talking about Jerami Grant's still a guy that he can go get a bucket. He's just not as gifted of a natural scorer as DeMar is. He's the better catch and shoot three-point shooter, better three-point shooter, again, better defensive guy. But at the end of the day, you're still going to need more, right? You still need, if you can get like a Jerami Grant and a Cam Johnson, now we're talking, right? Now it's like, okay, wait a minute. Lakers might have something brewing here. Right now, the Lakers might be, if all the pieces can fit and gel and if everything works out correctly, now we could be a contender. Right? Because now you're talking about two guys that can legit put the ball on the floor, go get a bucket, two guys that can knock down the three ball, two guys that are excellent playing off ball, two guys that can defend out on the perimeter, two guys that got good size, good length, good versatility, play either forward spot. You could go positionless and kind of, slot LeBron at the point. Right, but really he's still playing the four and on defense, right? And then you have Cam Johnson and a Jerami Grant out on the perimeter. If you could do something like that, now the Lakers, I believe, are in that conversation for contention, right? But they need at least two, maybe three real impact pieces. Not saying that they have to get a star or superstar or anything like that, but again, if you can get a Jerami Grant and a, Cam Johnson, and then can you bring in like a Gary Trent Jr., right? Like now there you go. Now you got three like legit pieces that can defend, that can shoot, that can do everything, that can be big points. Like Gary Trent Jr. is a guy that, was 2 or 3 years ago, he led the league in 30-point games, right? There's options still out there. There's still flexibility out there. All signs point to the Lakers are kind of waiting to see what happens with Jerami Grant. Hopefully it's not something where the Lakers miss out, right? But there's also a lot of options. All the options are still on the table. It's not even just that there's a lot. It's just that none have gone yet, right? All the names that have been on the trade block are all names that are still there, right? It's just, hey, DeMar Derozan, I don't want to sign in free agency. I want to be signed and traded. Okay, cool. Clay, he doesn't want to sign in free agency. He wants to be signed and traded, right? Miles Bridges ended up re-signing with the Hornets, right? All these players went and chased the bag rather than trying to get the actual chance to win a championship, right? But like I said, maybe all of them were looking at it as me by myself is not enough, right? I need me and, DeMar might have been looking at it as no, I need me and a Jerami Grant. Can the Lakers pull off Jerami? It also could just be perception. The problem is we don't know. We don't have the conversations. We only know the reports. We only know the end result, right? We don't know what DeMar was thinking, right? Is that all he wanted was a bag? If that's the case, we heard this guy for 3 years talk about how badly he wanted to be a Laker. Yes, I understand that the Lakers, had their chance to get him and they went with Russell Westbrook, and I'm sure he feels a type of way about that. I'm sure he feels slighted in a way. But even after the fact, he still, every year and every opportunity he has done nothing but talk about the Lakers and being a Laker. And you had your chance, you had your opportunity, and you chose the Kings. So good luck, right? Lakers, do your job, right? Get that guy, get that two. Again, got to remain patient. I know it's frustrating. I know we all want that big move. We all want that impact move. But at the end of the day, you got to be patient. Anything can happen, right? And I know a lot of people want me to be super critical of Rob Pelinka, but I can't yet. Again, you still have 2-3 months before you even get into training camp. So it's like, I come up here, I start talking about Rob Pelinka in a negative light, and then he goes and makes that move, and now I got to get him up here and be like, oh, he's the best. What a great job. Right? Rob Pelinka's made a trade in almost every season he's been in office, but he's also been patient in all those moves, right? The trade that ended up getting us to the conference the conference finals, right? He was patient. We all wanted him to do a trade in the offseason. We all wanted him to do this, that, and the other. He was patient. Ended up taking his time. Boom. Trade gets done. We're in the conference finals. Right? So, patience. I know it's frustrating. I know it's hard. But I think we'll be in good shape. And Jerami Grant seems to be the guy. Jerami Grant seems to be the target. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Jerami Grant? Do you not? Do you think not stay away from Jerami Grant? Do you think we need more than Jerami Grant? Do you think Jerami Grant potentially is enough? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you even like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.